If you're one of those practitioners whose whole reason for being is to empower your patients, you've got big competition, and I want you to listen up. My name is Dr. Meghan Walker. I am the chief cheerleader at Clinician Business Labs, CEO at High Validity, and for the last 20 years, I've been involved in health and wellness and hanging out at the intersection of entrepreneurship and AI and marketing and communication. And we need to have a really serious conversation about the influence that AI, and not just AI, but AI innovation is going to have on your practice. You see, in the last few months, OpenAI, which is the parent company to ChatGPT, launched a pilot project inside the United States called Health GPT. And Health ChatGPT is going to completely change the game. I actually think in a really good way for patients, but if you aren't willing to be aware of and adapt to what's taking place in the landscape, it will have a profound impact on your practice. Let's talk about what this looks like. So, the essence of ChatGPT Health is that it's going to enable patients and health consumers to upload labs, wearable technology, a whole dashboard interface, their Apple Watch data, their Clue period data. It doesn't matter. They collect data on your health. Health GPT is going to have a look at it. And the whole idea here and the way that the company is marketing it is that this is an interface that will help you condense this data, be prepared for expert visits, have a strong sense of what's going on across a variety of different physiological systems. They show a woman sitting at the hairdresser's, scrolling through ingredients, trying to determine whether or not the hairdressing experience will flare her eczema. They show her taking a picture of a new article of clothing in some type of boutique, asking whether or not this could possibly trigger a flare on her skin. They show a parent of a child with cancer trying to manage all of the different experts and all of the different material. And the overwhelming message from each of these patients is that this tool has been one of the most profound and empowering tools at enabling me to truly understand my health that I have ever been exposed to. And that's the challenge. What ChatGPT Health and other things that are going to look exactly like it are going to be able to do for health consumers is give them empowering, consistent insight with very low friction, without needing to book an appointment, without having to complete intake forms, without having to pay $400, $500, $800 for access to you. This is not technology that is going to come into play over the course of the next 6 or 8 years. This is technology that has come into play already. And it's simply going to be a matter over the course of the next 6 to 8 months whether or not it's available to patients near you. Now, if this is creating a sense of alarm, I want you to check in, because the same part of you that is feeling alarmed at what this might do to your practice, I suspect there's another equal part of you that has been saying for your whole career, all I really want to do is help people. I want to make my systems of care and my ability to see the big picture accessible to more people. Accessibility is actually one of the key words of our industry. And yet, when another tool facilitates that expertise, we all get a little bit anxious. Now, don't get me wrong, there are lots of reasons that we should be anxious about this type of technology. There are absolutely questions around privacy. We all know that ChatGPT and other AI bots spew out all sorts of information which may or may not be accurate at any given moment. But the truth remains, whether we have issues or whether we trust this technology or not, for consumers, it looks like a viable first line approach. And this is where we need to take note. This is where we need to be prepared to match our offering with what the landscape and the healthcare ecosystem requires in this moment. Because if you are still one of those practitioners who is trading your time for money, who sells access to yourself to give people a stack of tools and recipes and information, your time has come, because there's a tool that is far less expensive with way less friction that can hand people information, and it isn't even GPT Health. It's Claude AI or GPT, or frankly, at this point, it's Gemini on Google. So we have crossed the point where your value to people is being able to share with them information. And we've now moved into an era where your capacity to synthesize, strategize, and assist patients to make decisions with complex information is where your expertise resides. We are going to see a stratification of healthcare over the course of the next 24 months. We're going to see this stratification play out because the reality is most healthcare systems are entirely unsustainable. I think many healthcare systems are riding it out until this technology becomes an inevitable part of the ecosystem. And that, frankly, would be one of my first recommendations to all practitioners, whether you're an ND, an acupuncturist, functional medicine, or primary care doc, that you actually lean into the shifts and adjustments that AI are going to facilitate and, frankly, force. I would look at what it means to become an AI first clinic. What does it mean to actively and intentionally incorporate AI into your systems? What does it mean to facilitate and drive information and share prompts and teach your patients how to use AI as a responsible partner to make your care more accessible through the types of tools that AI naturally and inherently already are? I think in this new hierarchy or stratification of care, we're going to see three real tiers play out. The first is what I'm going to call AI or self-guided. This is going to be frontline care in a naturopathic practice, but maybe frontline care in a primary care practice as well. It's going to be cheap, it's going to be fast, it's going to be accessible, and it's going to handle 70% of mild cases. It's going to be what triages symptoms. It's going to be able to provide generalized lifestyle advice, frankly, better than you can. Most patients are going to be willing to try this before they try anything else because it's worth a shot. And worst case scenario, they're going to stay exactly where they are. And when you have a whole cohort of patients who are like, worst case scenario, I'm just where I am now and I could book down the road, it means your sales cycle has lengthened. So trying to continue to sell what you've always sold, but simply saying AI can't be trusted, it's only going to buy you a short amount of time. Instead, I'd really look at how AI can actually increase accessibility. The second tier of care is what I'm going to call AI human oversight. Think group programs, digital clinics, low-cost supervision. This is scaled up care, efficient, but not deeply personalized. Where they want to touch base with you is to help them make decisions. This is where we can leverage AI to be more efficient in the deployment of care. We can lower its costs, but we can still infuse human touch in a really creative way. The third tier of care is going to be the premium clinical strategist. And this is where I'm recommending most practitioners in the functional medicine, naturopathic medicine, nutritionist space currently lean. This is where you are going to belong. If you have been a strategist in the space for the better part of the last 3, 4, 5, 10, in my case, almost 20 years, you are perfectly poised to sit in that premium tier. This tier is for complexity. It's for high-risk cases. It's for high-performance optimization. It's for patients who are stuck. This is the realm of discernment and not just data. Floating in the middle is not viable. Generalists who just want to help more people are going to be replaced. Why? Because AI scales benevolence better than a burnt-out clinician is ever going to. Your business model can no longer be based on underpricing or overextending or emailing your patients between visits, because very soon, if they haven't figured this out already, they can simply ask their AI bot. Your next phase needs to be based on leverage, and it needs to be based on authority. So let's talk about some of the strategies that you can put in place to make this transition. What are some of the things that absolutely will make it easier and more accessible for you to be able to take your care and to take your practice and take your history and your capacity as a strategist to the next level? So how do you go about actually claiming your position in tier 3? You have to stop competing and you have to start architecting. Here's how we're going to do it. Strategy number 1, specialize ruthlessly. Generalists are going to suffer the most. You must become the known escalation point for a specific and sometimes complex problem. Perimenopause performance, post-viral autoimmunity, thyroid resistance, mold-related illness. You pick your battlefield. When a patient tries 6 different AI plans and nothing is having them feel better, the frustration is what you're going to market. In fact, if it was me, I would actually lean in. Here are 4 GPT prompts I would use before you come and see me. Here are 4 ways and 4 ways you can interact with ChatGPT to optimize your diet and lifestyle and daily habits before you come and see me. Get the most out of our time together. Strategy number 2, integrate AI publicly. I already suggested this. Don't fight the tool. Position yourself as the master of it. There's a number of scholars who are currently talking about the advent of the K-shaped economy. The K-shaped economy is going to look at 2 cohorts of people. People who have put their head in the sand and have decided, I don't want to do AI. It's not aligned with my values and ethics. And believe me, there are a lot of challenges with the values and ethics. I don't want to have to know about it. I want things to stay the same. I don't trust it. I'm not going to subject my practice to it. What they say about that K-shaped economy, meaning one line goes up, one line goes down, is that those individuals who put their head in the sand, whether they are in medicine or any other field, are actually going to become slaves to AI and to those tools. The learning curve is so fast, both for the machines and the humans using them, that if you make a decision for the next 18 months that you are going to opt out, you are going to be caught on that downward trend. Other scholars have suggested that the other side of that K-shaped economy are people who are leaning into AI, who want to command a sense of excellence around it, who want to understand the parameters and the risks, who want to know how to speak to it to be effective, not just productivity-wise, but in the deployment of care. For those individuals, they're going to see a consistent uprising in terms of their careers, their earning potential, and their time freedom. My suggestion when I talk about this idea of integrating AI publicly, this is about teaching your audience how to use AI safely. This is about showing them where it misleads them, naturally teaching them where those gaps exist so that you are the logical next step. Create content on how to ask better questions that validates their outputs. Treat AI as the intern that you're giving them all access to, and you're the chief medical strategist. Taking an approach and a lens of strategy and positioning yourself as a strategist in an era where information is accessible like that is your key point of differentiation. Strategy number 3, you've got to sell outcomes and not access. Sitting across from you and giving people information is not what they are looking for. Trading your time for money is maybe a model we were taught in school, but it is not viable in 2026 and onwards. People are coming to see you for your strategy, not your time. And while it's really important that we can sit across from our patients, that we can have a human-to-human visit, what we do with that visit matters. How we frame that visit matters. We need to be able to speak to a transformational program. We need to be able to speak to a transformational process and how they engage and what will be expected of them. And how and when we address things when we don't stay on that outcome course. We need to speak to outcomes, not because they're inevitable, but because it is a line in the sand. It's a flag that we can aim towards. We need to package the journey that we help to facilitate. And when we speak in the language of outcomes, we spark people's attention. It's no longer just a list of things you could try or a diet that might get us through the next 4 months. It is a roadmap, and you wrote it. It elevates your strategy, it elevates your authority, and it gives people a clear sense of how we are going to get to that next stage together. Strategy number 4, build hybrid care models. Leverage AI to increase your authority and reduce your time. Your new model could look like this: an AI-supported prep phase where patients complete intakes, clean up baseline lifestyle before they ever need to come in and see you. And then you deliver a live strategic intensive, followed by ongoing accountability, either with you or with a coach or an AI-driven tool. Your value is the integration, the connection, the direction, the strategy, not necessarily the information gathering, and not necessarily being the note taker. Strategy number 5, you got to raise your rates, but you have to earn it with authority. We are not selling our time for money anymore, and that's a good thing because not many people actually want to be earning a living that way. It does mean that we are probably earning our living by selling our strategy, which requires a new layer of intentionality. It's not more work, it's just a different way of looking at the problem. Premium positioning is mandatory in this day and age, but it also must be justified. If you charge premium prices, but you look interchangeable, you're going to lose authority. Authority requires a clear methodology, published frameworks, visible case outcomes, strong branding, clear messaging. But so does trust. We're existing in an era of a trust recession, as many people like to say. And it is incumbent upon all of us to rise to the moment. If we spent 8 years in school, we've got to act like it. We can't be scared to charge what we're worth. We can't be scared to tell our patients we can no longer email them in between visits because we're just too overwhelmed. We need to come to the table with a level of professionalism and innovation that meets the moment. That is the type of confidence that confers trust. And it's frankly the type of confidence that differentiates you from the chatbot on their phone. Now, the fourth part of this conversation, and the part that is just as important, is addressing the mindset component of the shift that is currently in place. And the mindset shift is this: stop asking, how do I compete with AI? And start asking, how do I leverage AI to increase my authority and reduce the amount of time it takes for me to deploy and deliver care? The doctor of the future uses AI for prep. They use dashboards for monitoring. They use precision for decisions. And they use their humanity for change. This is not, it's not obsolete to show up in front of people. It is elevated. And we get to rise to the moment. This is a massive shift. We're going to be breaking it all down in a series of resources that we share over the upcoming months. I'm going to try below this video, because it's such a current and hot topic in our industry and abroad, to share the most current resources that we are currently making available. Coming up over the course of the next few months, we have a free open town hall where we talk about the influence of GPT health on your practice and your immediate next steps. We've got tools to help you craft your own AI policies. And we've got a variety of frameworks to help you shift the mindset that will be required to meet this moment. I am here and I am sharing this message, and we are leaning into how we train our practitioners and our community members on AI, because it is an inevitable part of our future. But so too is your expertise and everything you have to offer the world. If you found this video helpful and you're curious about how you can ride the next wave of delivering care, reach more people, and help them all be empowered the way you had always dreamed of, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in our next video.